Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to WCS America. That's right, brought to you live via the ESL studios here in Cologne. We are almost at the end of Group A, but don't worry, we've got more StarCraft 2 action coming your way with the culmination of Group B coming this evening as well. Claris is back with me. Final game of the night. It's going to be a tricky one for both players for different reasons. puCK, he knows he's got the number of HyuN already. He's 4-1 up in matches against him. He's 9-1 up in PVZs lately. He just seems to be able to know how to beat HyuN. And HyuN, on the other hand, there's some mind games for him here. Does he sit there and think, okay, I know what he's going to do against me. He's going to do the same thing. I'll play to those games. Or does he think, well, damn, I need to do something more aggressive. I need to be different. I mean, it's difficult for both of them in many ways when they play each other twice. But even more so, because puCK has been in this position before in WCS America against HyuN, having beaten him the first time, then lost to get himself knocked out. So there's a bit of mind games to be had here. Who's got the upper hand?
The thing that's scary about a second series for these guys is that after the first series, as we look at HyuN, who wasn't able to topple our American representative, I feel that he might need to change up a little bit of what he's doing. Not hugely, just kind of find like a bit more of an aggressive angle on him, maybe even be more aggressive through this mid-game compared to what we saw. But then, at the same time, then you have to look over at puCK's side of things, and it's like, he can do a lot of stuff. He can do a lot of stuff. And I mean, like, going back to the round of 32, where he was going for, you know, sentry drops and then even having, like, a DT follow-up into those kind of things. So really, really kind of quirky games that you don't normally see come out in the current metagame, but are still always there and always prevalent and can always kind of catch you off guard.
I mean, even in that PvP, we saw a little bit of innovation from him with the, you know, force fielding of his opponent's base, which was, it didn't work out, but it was fun to watch. Yeah, it could have. It could have been if he'd been a bit more aggressive, maybe. Who knows how that would have been panned out. He might not have been in this position now, but very interesting player. We already know that. But from HyuN's point of view, he's renowned for his aggression, but we haven't really seen that much aggression from him, I don't think. Would that be fair?
Not a huge amount. I think he was gearing up for something kind of on Habitation Station, and then Hart kind of walked into him and was like, oh, hi, when he was on creep. But going into this one, you know, if he does want to find those angles, puCK's doing a really good job of keeping an eye on him with hallucinated phoenixes, etc., and then even just openers in general. So it's going to be difficult.
I'm going to give you one final chance to change your mind. You predicted Oz and HyuN to go through this group. Oz is already through. HyuN needs to win this one match. If you given the opportunity to change and it to be scrubbed from the record, are you going with puCK or are you sticking with HyuN? While he thinks about that, ladies and gentlemen, please try out a new Lego system. No, I'm joking. What do you think?
God, it's so hard.
It is hard.
It's really difficult.
It is. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to go with puCK.
Yeah? Okay, I'll stick to my guns.
Okay, we've got one from each from the analysis table. Let's find out what our commentators think. Already, puCK is just giving the anger finger right now to Mr. Claris in complete disgust at what he's just said. But they are almost ready for the map veto. So let's go over to the commentary team. You're going to enjoy this one. It's the final game of Group A. Can America finally step into the unknown? It would be the first time an American has made the round of 8. Or is it Spider HyuN making the round of 8 for the first time for himself? Let's find out.
Thank you very much, Paul. And yes, indeed, some mixed opinions over there. Nathan, what are your thoughts about this final series, such an important series here in Group A?
I got to root for my man, puCK, the Americans here. Got to represent the U.S.
Gonna wave that blue book around?
You know it.
I think it's going to be one hell of a fun series, at least. I definitely think that HyuN is a little worried. You know, you might lose against someone once. Even if it happens twice, you'll be like, next time I'll do it different. But if it keeps happening over and over again, it can definitely get very tricky. Then again, you know, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. Yes, he lost that first series. But if he wins this one, that's the only one that matters. And how often haven't we seen it when we use this format, with this group stage format, the GSL format, as a lot of people refer to it, that one player does win that first series, but then the other one comes back via the loser bracket. They meet again, and this time the player that lost the first series will win. We've seen it over and over happen again, especially in WCS Europe, and I wouldn't be super surprised if it happens again. I do know that puCK is boosting with confidence.
Yeah, he has to be, as the first couple of vetoes are now going to go through. I honestly would be surprised if we had a different set of vetoes than the first time that they played. But another good point that you bring up is, you know, HyuN having lost to puCK, there's a lot of things he can look at that maybe he would tune up or change to make himself win those games that he lost, to change for this series. Whereas puCK, you kind of won, but how much do you really want to change from your style if it already won you first match?
Yep, Delos Point being vetoed first and Yangtze of course being vetoed by HyuN. No surprises so far. Also Habitation Station being vetoed doesn't shock me. puCK already said multiple times he's not a big fan of the map. I also think it's a tough map to play against Zerg. And I'm expecting Altazim to be vetoed now, but maybe Heavy Rain? I don't know. Yeah, Altazim.
Yeah, it's Altazim. People just don't seem to like that map too much. So we have a very similar array of maps compared to our first series they hit between these two players today.
Heavy Rain even being the first map again, his second map going to be Frost as well, then everything would be identical. Completely identical even.
The question is, are the strategies going to be identical? It almost feels like there's a lot of tension waiting for that second map to be decided. It is Frost. So we do pretty much have the same layout, the same fields to play on for our final match.
Did you see that stare down? He looked deep into his soul. He's like, don't do that again on Heavy Rain. I'm ready for it. I spoke a little bit with puCK about that Heavy Rain game as well. He's like, it was kind of messed up. I lost that probe, which indeed he did lose against those first 6 Zerglings. And we thought like, it's nice that he at least sees those 6 Zerglings, which it was. But at the end of the day, it's still really annoying because that probe was the only map presence he had. And by the time that he truly saw what was going on, all those roaches making his way across the map, it was just a little too late. He had no Mothership Core yet. He already dropped the Robo, but it just wasn't going to come in time. And 1 cannon is not enough to deal with 8-9 roaches that are knocking on your front door. They have too much HP, represent too much DPS for that poor Protoss army to deal with in that phase in the game. Take a look at the stats, and puCK just keeps boosting that PVZ record up to 60% right now with that impressive roach per minute kill count. It's funny that it's 8.9 roaches per minute, but in the first game, 9 roaches were too many.
if only you could turn it on just that fast in the beginning of the game.
Then within 1 minute, he would be out of the woods.
That's all it takes. And HyuN, he's the, I don't know, that's like scarily similar stats across the line. He's good in every matchup. He doesn't have, I really wouldn't say he has that much of a weak point. It's kind of funny, the only matchup that he lost today was the one, it's technically the best statistic-wise, but...
So maybe he should lose this, then he's the true Devil Zerg. We already have the Devil Terran with the Muslim, but if he loses this one, 6666666.
Is it worth losing for the stat line?
I think it's worth it. I would personally do, you know what, to hell with it. I'm going to 6-pull twice. I want to be the ultimate Devil Zerg.
6-pull. I mean, I'm just wondering
exactly.
if puCK's the player to go against the Nexus first.
And then tap out your game at 6 minutes. And 06 seconds, I guess, just for the ultimate 6. Either way, Heavy Rain is going to be our first map here in this important best of 3 WCS America. After this series, we will know our second player that's going to make it to the round of 8. Is it going to be Rocket's HyuN for the first time in his career? Yes, guys, I know that's hard to believe, but back then in Season 1, I think he still tried his luck in Korea. Then he tried to switch to America in the middle of the season after he already played Korea, and they said like, hey, you're not allowed to do that. So back then he had to start qualifying in Season 2, but with the old season, when you qualified in Season 2, you could only play in Season 3. So WCS Premier League Season 3 was the only time we saw HyuN at the biggest stage. And back then he lost perhaps surprisingly in the round of 16, which also ruined his chances to go to BlizzCon despite having so many WCS points, which he ironically picked up in anything other than WCS.
Yeah, I actually wonder, I think HyuN might be the most successful player of 2013 that was not able to really get any WCS points. He had so many high results. He's such a good player. And actually, I think it's also funny to note, given the spirit of WCS America, he just recently obtained a work visa to play in Europe for a whole year. He'll be practicing
that's
here.
Awesome.
So I'm wondering, where exactly is he going to go with this? This matchup this is a pretty big one, actually.
He's like, WCS America in Cologne, let me get a visa for a year straight. Because I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be around of 16 every single season, at least.
If it was not going to be here every season. But we're loaded into the map, guys. We are all ready here on Heavy Rain, the first map of our final match. We can see both of our players, the American versus the Korean. And we can see that our first player in the bottom position, he is Frightened of Spires Rotterdam from IBD Gaming. It is puCK.
For the people who wonder why would puCK say that in the start of the game, that's because HyuN is also known as Spider HyuN, which had to do with IEM New York, where he dressed up as Spider-Man during Comic-Con.
He's definitely a kind of player that gets in the spirit of whatever's going on around him. He's earned the Sick Nerd Baller award for a reason, and he is our red Zerg in the top. From Team Rocket, it is HyuN, the Spider HyuN himself.
And this time it's already a little different what we see from puCK, as we see the pylon going down in the main base and not in the natural. So it's not always the Forge Fast Expand. He told me this in the preview of the game as well. He's like, I'll most likely go with a Gateway Expand this time, because I feel HyuN has just an excellent read on my Forge Fast Expand builds, and he just knows what to do against it. So I'm going to switch things up and keep it fresh. Well, he's definitely doing that.
Yeah, I can't really disagree. You had actually expected him to do this the first time that they met.
Well, this is the story of my life, Nathan. I'm always almost right. That's why I do so poor in sports betting, you know. I'm almost always right.
60% of the time, you're right all the time. Well, puCK is... so with the gateway opening on this map, I kind of like it. Does HyuN go for fast 3 hatcheries again? It seems like he hasn't had any problem doing that so far against anybody that really goes gateway expands. And, well... he's not going to do anything crazy like a fast drone scout like we saw in Polar Night. I'm wondering how comfortable HyuN is after that first series.
It can definitely be a little risky to go 3 hatch, especially if you also delay your gas on a map like Heavy Rain. Now we do see the extractor going down in the main base, so HyuN is not going to go crazy economic. He's just going to go hatch first into still relatively quick speed. That speed is going to give him a lot of map control and will allow him to deal with any kind of early game pressure from puCK, whether it's just like Zealot Stock or Mothership Core or anything along those lines. He's going to be able to deal with it quite easily, and of course make sure that no hidden pylons are going up.
Yeah, you know, it's cool to see that fast gas is still taken occasionally by Zergs, because HyuN didn't have too much trouble playing gasless in one of the games earlier today. But I feel like, you know, when you looked at the start of Heart of the Swarm, when Protoss players started to gateway expand a lot of Zergs almost felt like they had to open up gas to be able to defend against possible aggression. Is puCK the player to go for something like a 2-base 4-gate? I don't really feel so, but do you think, is that solid build on this map, or what is the best way to go out of a gateway expand?
I mean, it's solid as long as you want to transition. If you want to go all out on 2-base 4-gate pressure against a Zerg that already opened speed, I think you're in for a bad time. Especially a Zerg of HyuN's caliber won't overdrone. He will see it coming in time. He's going to make enough units. And then as a Protoss, you're in a really poor position, because, hey, you have no follow-up. You're sitting here with 4 gates, and obviously Zealot, Stalkers, and Sentries are pretty cute, but they're not going to cut it against a Zerg with a superior economy, and above all, knows that that is everything that you have to work with. So I think if puCK wants to put on some 3-gate pressure, I wouldn't mind it. Even when speed is out already, I don't think it would be a poor choice at all, but he needs to be able to transition out of it, because you're not going to straight up win the game.
All right, it makes a lot of sense. The biggest thing I'm wondering, as far as the mid game goes, we've seen puCK play Robo twice and Stargate just once. In the Stargate game, he played a completely different style than the first 2 maps. On Heavy Rain, I'm just kind of looking at his Colossus Void Ray style he used in Polar Night, but then the other 2 games he played, he tried to, at least in Heavy Rain the last time, that the Immortals, the Stalkers, the Blink, the heavy focus on the Blink and the +2 that won him the game on Frost. Which style would you prefer for this map? Colossus heavy or just Blink Stalker heavy? I
think it's going to be Blink Stalker heavy. We might see some Immortals in the mix as well. Well, there actually go. There is Stargate, so I'm wrong. It's going to be Stargate play. That's interesting, and that might be cool. It might just be a very solid puCK in this game, more defensive oriented. Well, that's a very unfortunate pylon. That pylon tried so hard to be hidden. Everything he wanted to do in life just to be hidden. So it might be that puCK wanted to do, you know, make a few Phoenixes and then actually wipe in a few Zealots trying to surprise HyuN. That's not going to work. The good thing is that he did see that there are speedlings, and I guess he can most likely assume there's an Overlord as well, because HyuN is good, but he's not that good that he's going to run straight to a pylon that's in the fog of war.
No, you know, puCK does confirm the existence of that 3rd base. The Mothership Core was able to scout it.
+1 air
very
weapons.
Fast +1 air attack. You know, Phoenix.
This is cool.
I mean, I guess it'll be useful for helping to pick off anything like Queens or picking up, but I feel like this is more of a late game oriented upgrade. It's not as much for the Phoenix, but for the potential that we could see Void Rays, puCK could already be showing us, or at least us as the observers able to see this, that he's looking at that Void Ray style again. I wonder if this Overlord looks at this Cybernetics core and says, you know what, that is probably upgrading +1 attack.
I mean, he can see it. And this phase in game 7 minutes, it would be strange. I already saw that Warpgate is ready as well. Well done, Funkadelic, pointing that out. So if he's paying attention, then he will see this. 11 drones on the production tab. even though it's easy to overlook such a thing, I don't think that's something you necessarily scout for in this phase in the game. There's a good chance that he just flew in, that he saw that target, and then he looked away, and then he focused on what's going on in his main base. +1 Phoenixes are indeed extremely good in picking off queens, and above all, guys, they can actually pick off overlords even when they are protected by spore crawlers, as long as you micro your Phoenixes a little bit, because they push out so much damage. Let's not forget, Phoenixes attack twice, so getting +1 is basically like getting a +2.
Yeah, it's really funny to think that this could almost be called a +1 Phoenix timing with just how fast this attack upgrade is going to be done. And it's also funny to think, I wonder how much faster it'll help him kill the queen. It's not something that you do a lot of studying for, but he'll pick off a few drones at this third base. The Phoenix give you a little bit of guaranteed damage, but investing into the upgrades for them makes it that much more important that he doesn't lose any as well.
Yep, and of course, right now we see the Robo going down, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see after the Robo Bay is going down to see another Stargate, because of course eventually he wants to use this +1 for a little more than just these 4 Phoenixes. At least that's what I can think of. I know that Crank, I believe, has been messing around with +1 Phoenixes for a while. It's a style that I used for a while too. I thought it was very fun, but of course, looking at my PVZ, that's nothing to take note from, because that win record, Nathan, nothing to brag about.
All right, well, I'm curious to see how this pans out for puCK. His +1 is done, so he gets some form of potentially tangible advantage now if he's able to pick up drones and get them a little bit faster, or a queen. And he's still going to pick off these drones at this gas. Very nice. I don't kind of wondered, like, as a Zerg player, does HyuN click on the Phoenix and think, were you actually getting that upgrade earlier?
I don't think
now.
I mean, he might know, he might not know. I don't think it changes all that much. Robo Bay being wiped in right now, first Void Ray being fired up as well. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a second Stargate as soon as that third Nexus is up. And then we're going to see that +1 truly matter, because so far everything that these Phoenixes have done is something they could have done without +1 too. It's going to be very important when those Hydras hatch that, maybe puCK will be able to pick off a few of them. HyuN is at 71 drones. It's a very healthy economy. But it's also an economy where he still wants to do some damage with the units that he's making. A couple of Hydras just hatch, and this is nice for HyuN. As soon as he has like 6-7 Hydras together, those Hydras will be safe. But if they would hatch like one by one, or they're just walking around by themselves, those Phoenixes, they pick them off in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, so don't want to get caught alone. And Heavy Rain, he's getting his infestation pit, so we can actually see again this fast hive play come from HyuN. He hasn't shown us any Swarm Host plays so far in any of his matches today. I don't feel like Heavy Rain's a bad map for Swarm Hosts, but the Phoenix will keep puCK aware of everything that's going on. And his first Void Ray flies right into those Hydralisks.
And that's kind of bad, especially because not a single Colossus is on the map just yet. Be careful with that Mothership Core, puCK. I have no idea why that Mothership Core is going where it is. Okay, he's paying... Okay, he just clicked on it. That's so important. He did see that those rocks were taking down. He needs that Colossus ASAP. No thermal lens is being researched just yet. And he's not researching it either. I'm a little bit worried. With Photon Overcharge and a Colossus, I guess he will be fine, but the Colossus is not out just yet. And this force, despite it not looking like an overwhelming Zerg force/swarm, is still pretty damn scary against that Protoss army that's waiting for it. Because that is not a Protoss army that pushes out a whole lot of damage against Hydras. Photon Overcharge is going to be the best thing there is.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, the Phoenix are actually not with this army either. He doesn't have that much damage output. The Hydras just descend upon this force. There's the force fields try to lock them out, but there's just not that much on the ground. He even contaminates one of the gateways to prevent that production from going up. And I feel like HyuN is just trying to smash puCK's face in on this first map and try to just basically say, yeah, I'm in control of this matchup, but he's still got the Nexus. He hasn't lost many probes. His army, though, has been mostly destroyed. Just 2 Void Rays basically holding on with that Photon Overcharge.
Yeah, Mothership Core went down as well, so no second Photon Overcharge. That Photon Overcharge is going to run out soon. But here is that big bad boy Colossus, but it's so exposed. He needs something to protect that Colossus. Otherwise, it is going to fall. Thermal Lens is not ready yet. Look at these Hydras. They're getting so close. They might be able to snipe it from below. No, that's not going to happen. But still, a lot of these probes are going to fall. The remaining gateway units are going to fall. And now the Colossus will fall in the end as well. That one hero Hydra. But this Nexus is still alive. A lot of probes have fallen. If we take a look at the work account, 67 against 53 is scary, but this is still something that puCK can work with if he survives a little longer. But will he survive? Next time there is no force field, there is no Photon Overcharge. And that is something that I'm very worried about for him.
Yeah, I think HyuN smells the blood in the water. He's continuing to just crank out these roaches. Yeah, killing these rocks is a very nice way for puCK to try to buy himself some time. That army's already on the left side of the map, though. so won't be crossing that pathway. 3 Vipers in production. He's trying to add another Stargate, continuing to get just 1 Colossus, 1 Void at a time while he adds gates, but Rotterdam, I don't know if this is a holdable attack if HyuN pushes it now. He's starting to move back a little bit.
I think he's gonna wait for the Vipers. Like he could either try his luck right now, but then he takes the risk of being force fielded, and then that 1 Colossus will do the damage that he needs to do. And then suddenly HyuN is like, now I got my Vipers, but do I have enough units? And then he needs to wait for the units again. So I think it's quite smart that he's gonna wait for the Vipers, and that's gonna be very tough for puCK to hold. I'm actually not sure how he's gonna do it. He's gonna have to somehow keep his Colossus that safe, that it won't die, but if he keeps it too far back, then... Okay, HyuN actually didn't even use, how do you call the leech energy spell? What's the name
he
of it?
didn't use it to consume. Oh,
Yes.
he brought
Spore Crawlers, that's cool.
He brought a bagged lunch to work today. These Spore Crawlers. He's got 2 more as well.
That's juicy, man. That looks better than Urios to those Vipers. And Urios look really good.
I mean, last thing you want to do is have to go back to your own base to get that food. And here he goes, immediately abducts 2 Colossi. Both of them dropped instantly, pulls the Void Ray over as well. There's that Nexus there, but you know, it's not firing. There's just not that much for puCK. He's on 100 supply now, and I think HyuN has done it. He set himself up for this with this fantastic earlier attack, and just not enough. GG HyuN takes game number 1 of our best of 3 here in the final match. I just don't think puCK had enough time to set up what was otherwise a pretty solid position. Those Phoenix didn't really slow HyuN down a lot.
StarCraft is a game of seconds. Indeed, they didn't slow HyuN down that much because he was up to 70 drones all along. Even when he started losing 3-4 drones in those extractors, he already had so many that it didn't hurt him, that it didn't slow him down. I really think the key was that I felt he could have made Colossus 15 seconds quicker, because that Robo was there, but the Colossus was not in production just yet. And that might seem like nitpicking, but imagine if that Colossus was there when the first fight started, and not when, you know, that Immortal already had fallen, a couple of the Zealots had fallen, the Sentries were forced to use their Force Field and Guardian Shield in a position or in a phase in the game where they didn't really want. I truly feel if he has 1 Colossus standing with that Nexus, in that phase in the game, we're looking at a completely different fight, and then maybe from that point on, puCK can actually execute the build that he really wanted to do, and that is get that second Stargate much quicker. We saw him drop it right now at the 14-minute mark, but that's only because he was under so much pressure, and he realized, like, hey, if I want to hang on a little longer, I need units, and I need units right now.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of that, do you think he needed to invest in a +1 attack that early? I feel like when you're playing against somebody like HyuN, if he's able to get that robotics facility 100 gas sooner, maybe that's enough to turn the tides to defend that push. It just didn't really seem like it had much of an impact on that fight with only 1 Void Ray during most of the engagement.
Of course, but that's looking hindsight, you know. If he is able to hold, if he is able to defend, then we're like, hey, this +1 is really working out, because these Void Rays in the next fight are suddenly pushing out so much damage. Of course, looking back at it, thinking like, hey, if he would have started everything 30 seconds quicker, yes, that would have made his life a lot easier, but I don't think it's impossible to hold with +1 air weapon, so I don't think that's why he lost the game.
All right, well, let's see if he can pull it back for the next game. We are loaded into Frost. We have those horizontal spawns once again. Our first player in the top left position, the blue Protoss player from Team IVD Gaming. It is puCK, who has done a fantastic job of not only playing well, but losing the first game in the series before giving us hope. And his opponent in the top right, from Team Roccat, the Red Zerg, is HyuN. The man with a plan that involves a lot of Hydralisks, a lot of Roaches, and a lot of Zerglings, really only using the Hive Tech for those support units and the Vipers.
Yeah, it's surprising how successful HyuN still is with this style, that a lot of Zerg players are just kind of fading away from it. I don't really like it that much anymore. It's so hard to break some of these Protoss players, but even at IM Katowice, HyuN had an absolutely fantastic run. Unfortunately for him, it was in the qualifiers, not in the main tournament. So he went home with nothing, but still winning that qualifier tournament was impressive. That was a very stacked tournament, and he was just overrunning world-class Protoss players with that aggressive, Hydra Roach Link style. And he has shown us many times in the past that he's such a big fan of. Also worth mentioning the game on Heavy Rain. It might seem insignificant as well, but that one single Void Ray I also think could have made a small difference. Every unit is so important in that first hold, and having that Colossus a little too late and missing one Void Ray, that's quite some resources that could have been used different.
So we're seeing puCK open up with the Gateway expand once again. It looks like he's retired the Forge openings for now. He's putting basically his tournament life on the line now. If he drops this game, he's out. And this is just one game now for HyuN to win to go to the round of 8. This is a pretty important game.
Yeah, Frost in the first series, he did go for the Forge Fast Expand, correct?
Yeah.
And we have similar spawning positions as well. HyuN, this time with the double hatch before spawning pool, and he did not even scout. So now I truly wonder, is puCK going to do something about it? And I also wonder if HyuN is still going to, drop spawning pool and then gas, or if he's going to go like we've seen some Zergs do, just absolutely go crazy greedy mode and rely on just slow Zerglings and Queens for a little while. Which, is very hard to deal with certain gateway aggressions. Not impossible, but also very hard because, there's only a certain fight that you can take with slow links, and at a certain point, the Protoss gateway aggression can snowball out of control, and without speed, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, I feel like one of the stories of the way that HyuN's been playing his games today, especially versus, puCK, he tries to play for a lot of drones. You mentioned in the last game, he had a ton of workers up by the time that Phoenix harass really started to kick in. And I wonder if HyuN, when you're up 1-0 in a situation like this, he's felt good. He played very well that last map. If he thinks he can win this game by just being a little bit greedy and then take it to the late game stage where he was able to beat puCK in the last game.
No worries, that happens to me all the time as well, Nathan. We're gonna see HyuN later today though, guys. For all the HyuN fans, maybe it's just like our subconscious being really excited to cast some HyuN games later today. But no, I totally agree. Interesting Overlord movement, by the way, by HyuN. fuCK showed us multiple times. But like this Overlord, normally you just see it on the north side, going to the left. But now he sends it to the middle. So it's already below the natural. In this case, it will be safe against that one Stalker that if he would have scouted it in any other way, he could have maybe lost his Overlord almost immediately. So pretty... funky Overlord movement. puCK will see. HyuN. Man, this is... casting Stark is pretty tough. He's gonna see this Overlord, but I don't think he's gonna be able to snipe it in time. Unless he would have a second Stalker, but he doesn't. Now this one Stalker is gonna have to run around circles, and then eventually that Overlord will be able to run to the left side and hide near that beautiful statue.
Yeah. Some of the doodads are pretty awesome. If you actually, puCK is moving straight up to 4 gateways.
Yep. But this is such a good scout for HyuN. HyuN with still no extractor. This is crazy. This is that greedy Zerg style. Now double extractor is going down almost at the 6-minute mark. But this scout is such a key scout. Of course, the Overlord saw quite a bit of it as well. He's going to lose these slow links, but from this point on, I think we're going to only see Zerglings on a production tab. Or, how else is he going to defend 4 gateway aggression? Do we have a probe out on the map? No, we do not. puCK tried to get a probe out. Actually, he's going to defend with roaches and not with speedlings.
I can't say I disagree with it as much, but it can be pretty weird. puCK does have 2 gas, so he can warp in a lot more stalkers than you would typically expect from a 4 gateway build like this. I know
Man, HyuN is doing a fantastic job in keeping those probes at bay. Because imagine if there's already a pylon close to HyuN's base right now. 4 Stalkers being warped in, 4 Stalkers start kiting. By then, roaches will pop 1 by 1, or, Zerg 3 by 3, but they're still just gonna slowly but steady dwindle in, and then those Stalkers will be able to push out a lot of unanswered damage. But because HyuN is doing such a marvelous job in keeping those probes away, puCK is not able to do the aggression that he would have loved to, and that would have been fantastic. Because, hey, roaches, if they have speed, yes, they can deal very well with Stalkers, but without speed, you're basically just running back and forth, buying time. And now HyuN is even going back to droning already. So HyuN, while almost doing nothing, has completely shut down this potential for gateway aggression by excellent slow Zergling movement. As silly as that may sound, but it's so important.
Just keeping map awareness and saying, you don't have a pylon, there's nothing you can really do to be aggressive against me. He's put himself in a solid spot, and puCK says, well, I don't really have too many choices. He throws a robo down, throws up the forge, and starts that 3rd nexus. And HyuN, is he aware of this 3rd base? He had a Zergling very close, so he saw the sentries. He could maybe speculate, but I'm sure we'll see him try to scout that out. He has a Zergling going towards the southern potential 3rd base. His speed is about to finish. He does have a couple roaches coming out on the map, so we saw this kind of honestly in the last game. He droned up, got his 3 bases saturated, and then he went to town. And with 5 Overlords finishing, is he about to really bolster up his army? 14 lings in the production tab.
You say a few roaches, quite a few even, and now with 18 Zerglings, like you said, Burrow being reduced as well. The first Immortals in production for puCK. This is just going to be some traditional good old Zerg is going to throw a lot of units at the 3rd base of Protoss, and either you're going to defend like a champ and you're going to love life as a Protoss and you're going to be in good shape, or you're going to crumble and you're going to lose some units, and from that point on it's just going to go from bad to worse. this is the key hold soon for puCK, for his tournament life, for his chances to make it into WCS America, a round of 8, for the first time in his career, for the first time of any American player.
There's a lot of weight riding on puCK to defend in this game, and even HyuN actually moving. Funkov pointed out earlier there was a drone moving down towards the southeast. Wasn't sure if he was looking to take a 4th base, so he's going to try to set himself up with the potential for economy behind this.
Oh, look at that! No,
that is no.
That's ridiculous.
I refuse to believe that he just randomly had an observer there to see this. No, that's.
I mean, he saw the drone, so I think he's going to check back soon. He does see that 4th base as well. Either way, the Roaches and Lynx are getting close. A couple of Zerglings will get force fielded out, but not too many of them have fallen. With a photon overcharge over here, puCK should be fine though. And puCK scouting that Spire at least. I mean, he didn't really scout it, but he indirectly scouted it, right?
Yeah.
I think he's going to send a hallucination in the near future or something like that. He has to be aware. Okay, I think that...
Yeah, this observer is being sent back. I think he's like, okay, maybe there's the 4th base, but I really want him to check that out and see the Spire.
This is really sick, though. I mean, definitely a bit, perhaps a little bit of luck involved as well, even though HyuN has done this in the past, but it's hard to imagine that puCK was looking like, maybe he's proxying a Spire in this phase in the game, and then immediately finds it. But he's going to double check it with that hallucinated Phoenix on the south side of the map. He will see it, and what will his reaction be? That's what I truly wonder about. Is he going to try to catch up and throw down 2 Stargates, or is he just going to be like, you know what, I'm going to try to defend with Blink Stalkers, later on Archons and Cannons. The latter is the more difficult one, but then again, if you throw Stargates down right now, with almost 12 Mutalisk already, soon to be maybe 14, 15 on the production tab, do you have a realistic shot?
Well, he does have that +2 attack coming in. He's warping in just Stalkers right now. But you know, despite everything, he still hasn't actually confirmed that Spire.
What happened with that hallucinated Phoenix? Did he rally it too far that it expired or something?
It just died in the bottom left. He never moved it away from there.
Oh. Well, that is a tragedy. Dark Shrine being wiped in right now as well.
Yeah. I gotta imagine it's for... Well, I mean, aside from DTs, Archons would be pretty useful against this as well. But 16 Mutas on the way. He doesn't need to engage the Stalker force.
This is going to be tough for puCK. I find it extremely difficult to defend against Mutalisk when I have this army composition. With +2 Blink Stalkers, you're not out of the woods. It's not like you're absolutely dead in the water and you can possibly defend. Players like MC have shown in the past some magnificent multitasking to defend against Mutalisk everywhere, and I'm just sitting there with my mouth open like, wait, you're supposed to be caught out of position soon. Either way, an engagement over here. I do not think that HyuN has to take this engagement, even though he's picking off a few of these Stalkers, but he doesn't really have to.
He didn't look like he really lost any of his Mutalisks, though. He still has 16 on the map, so he didn't lose any of them. So I don't think that was too bad. He was able to take out some of the Stalkers as well. Picks off those Zealots that were trying to clear the creep. I mean, there's still a tumor or two there left to hold it into the center of the map, but this is awkward because I still think if puCK can get the Stalkers to fight the Mutas with his sentries, he has enough anti-air at the moment. Yep. But, you know, this is, as you've stated, you try to go out and push out against Mutalisks, this is what happens. They immediately just come in wherever is open.
And it's so scary as a Protoss to just sit back and defend your 3 bases. Okay, puCK is going to be caught out of position here for the first time, lose quite a few probes in his main. At the same time, he is going to get quite a few of these Mutalisks here. So it wasn't for nothing, but from this point on, HyuN is so rich. If these Dark Templars are able to do something about any of the bases, HyuN not paying that much attention, losing a few more Mutalisks than you expect a player like HyuN to lose. puCK's supply actually looks surprisingly healthy. Oh, those DTs can do some serious work. Where is he sending them? He's a little indecisive. Yeah. Look at Funka, man. He doesn't need to have all vision. He just needs HyuN's vision, and he keeps following. He keeps tracking those DTs.
The Overseer is here. I feel like these Dark Templar didn't have... they weren't in the best position to take advantage of
all those
unknown.
Speedlings.
Yeah, he's just going to try to swarm this third base as puCK moves across the map. Yeah, the Dark Templar defensively actually pretty smart choice. And puCK's like, okay, you want to do this again? Let's do it. And the Dark Templar were great for defending the last time, but I feel like they've been given too big of a task to clear all this out. That third base for puCK can't last much longer. And at what point, puCK doesn't have a mothership core with this army. He cannot recall. He's just got to either walk all the way home to that third or push across the map.
It was definitely a little sloppy from HyuN, who had 7 Overseers, to not have a single Overseer with that army. But at the same time, when there are Roaches and Lynx all over your 3 bases and you lost your third base already, often you're in a lot of trouble as a Protoss player. He actually might be able to save this third base. Oh, No, he's not going to be able to save it. But really be able to at least save some of the probes in his natural or his main. Supply-wise, it's still so close. This one Dark Templar doing some serious work at the fourth base.
Yeah, and important to note, even if it was a full base trade, there's still that Spire hidden out on the map. And puCK will be able to clear these roaches out, but there's still so many mutas, 24 mutas on the field. And he's just going to lead puCK around all day. I don't even think there's any photon cannons left on this map. No, so all he can do is just try to fly these or blink these stalkers around. And HyuN says, "You leave your base, I'm going to attack you." He's basically forcing him. And there's still Zerglings in the main base. That main Nexus is going to die.
Well, it's at all of his deck now. Okay, he still has the natural, so at least he has one base to work from soon. But that also means he's only able to produce one probe at a time. What can puCK truly do? I mean, there are still 7 more Mutalisks on the production tab. That's going to fire it up to 31 Mutalisks against 19 Stalkers and 7 Sentries. So unfortunate.
This game is so awkward. He's shut down the majority of the economy.
Oh my god, the hedge?
3 hit points.
That's sick.
Oh man. Just imagine how much, like, the natural Zerg regeneration, just maybe a couple of seconds more and that Dark Templar would have been able to kill it.
Half a second more.
Wow. Yeah. That's really tough. Plus that +2 attack is going to finish. He actually really needs that. These mutas are all he can really get at this point in the game. He's not mining any gas outside of the natural expansion. The main base isn't going to last much longer. Every muta that puCK kills is huge.
That's true, but I feel that HyuN doesn't have to fight. He traded the 3 Mutalisk there for 3 Stalkers, so that's not all that bad, especially not because he still had some income. Above all, he still has drones that he soon will be able to send to that 4th base as well. So every second that goes by right now is a good second for HyuN, and he knows it. He even has burrowed Zerglings all over the place. puCK needs a small miracle. I'm not exactly sure how he's supposed to win this game. I'm afraid every time he's going to try to kill the economy from HyuN, he's going to lose more and more stuff at home. Soon he will probably lose everything. We can already see a hatchery go up in the left bottom side of this map as well. Winning a full-on base trade. He did it on Polar Night, but that was a little different. Then he always had that good economy to fall back on, and HyuN didn't have a scary Mutalisk block. This time he does.
Yeah, that Mutalisk block makes all the difference, and puCK managed to get a couple hits on it first, but it really didn't seem like it seemed so random, so lucky he was able to see that drone over there by the Overlord spreading the creep, but wasn't able to confirm what it was or properly defend against it. And you said it, the hatchery in the bottom left. I don't see any way that puCK kills everything. Now he's going to kill the Spire, but there's still a hatch in the bottom left. There's drones already going over there, and puCK's being revealed.
Yep, he's being revealed. He has 0 probes left. So I'm afraid that these are all his buildings, correct? He has nothing else. Not a single probe, so these are the last remaining buildings. As soon as HyuN kills all these buildings, HyuN will make it to the round of 8 as well. GG is called, and HyuN wins the deciding series 2-0.
Solid play by HyuN. I think adjusted very well based on the results of the first series. Played damn well, and he's going to make his way into the round of 8. puCK, played very well in his games today, but sometimes not enough, and he put forth some good play, but HyuN has shown he can be the comeback player.
I think the first 3 Dark Templars, I really think he should have split them up a little more, create some more problems, because in the end now he just created one problem. Of course, puCK got a little bit unlucky with that one Dark Templar and not killing that one hatch, but I don't think that made the difference. I think he should those 3 Dark Templars, I think they were so important, because if he keeps HyuN busy for a while, that also gives him more time to stabilize at home. And right now it was more like HyuN kills his 3 Dark Templars, and immediately he went for the massive counterattacks. I don't think HyuN played a flawless game, but he did a lot of stuff right, especially early game with those slow links. If with just slow links you're able to deny potential 4 gateway aggression while your extractors went down at the 6-minute mark and you open double hatch before pool, you're doing something very right.
Yeah, HyuN was basically able to get away with the majority of the greed that he wanted in the second series he played versus puCK. And another thing that's very important to keep in mind is that, I just feel like there's so many different things that could have happened once that observer flew by that Overlord and the drone. If he just checked back there, either with the Phoenix or the observer, so many different things could have happened.
Yeah, we were kind of just assuming that he knows the drone is there, and then he just like went away, and then he's going to check it again. He did fly that hallucinated Phoenix, so I still have to feel that he was aware of it, but I don't know. I'm sure that we can ask him. Either way, we're going to throw it over to Paul right now. So guys, thank you very much, and Paul, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. With HyuN, congratulations, HyuN. You just said to me quietly yesterday, you look at the group and you think, easy peasy. Yeah. And now, not so easy.
I said, but first match, very bad game. I'm so sad.
Against puCK when you played him first?
Yes.
I mean, do you think you played bad or he played really well?
He very well played, and I'm so bad play. Yeah. Okay. First game, heavy rain. You remember Ro16 and juggling Orin? Oh, so lucky. But second game, third game, so bad game.
So why was it different this time?
What?
Why was it different now? This game?
I think he's so strong because he immortal, blink stalker, so many make. I think Mura juggling, counter build. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
success. Yes. Success. Yeah.
It was a success. Yeah. Yes, this time, which is good for you. Is it hard for you to play in a group when you're the favorite? When you're, everyone says HyuN will win.
Now second place. I meet after first place another group. So hard, I think. But we group 3 Korean. So many Korean, but I try round 8 win. Round 4 I'm semi-final, final. I try win. Yes.
So you think you can win all of WCS America?
What?
Do you think you can win the whole of WCS America? Win the whole thing?
Yes, good.
Yeah. That's good. That's okay. You can be confident. That's good. So, just tell me. No one's listening right now. No one's watching. Okay. Who do you not want to play?
Me?
Yeah. Which player do you not want to play? Is it puCK?
Teja.
You don't want to play. But okay, we'll make sure you don't play Teja.
Before, so many play versus Teja. Usually I lost. Yeah. He's so strong. Yeah.
All right. We'll try not to give you Teja, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another player, I don't care.
All right. Okay. So any other player in the round of 8 is fine for HyuN except for Teja. So Teja, if you're watching, please don't win because this guy doesn't want to play you. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more of Group B, of course. But before we get there, we are going to take some analysis with Kalaris.
Thank you very much, Paul. I can understand why he's a bit scared of Teja. A lot of people certainly are. Let's go back into game number 1. Very, very brief kind of look as to what was happening here. But from the very, very beginning of this game, one thing that really, really stood out to me was the similarities of the opener to something that we saw from a player like Patience in the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. Now, when he was using this kind of Phoenix with +1 style, I'm not 100% sure as to the choices as to why puCK would choose to do this, but if it's in parallel with what Patience would do, then we'll just quickly look at that. Now, obviously the +1 finishing up is very, very useful for Phoenix, and normally what you would do with a style like this is go up to around like 7 or 8 Phoenix or something, instead of just the normal kind of 5, and then as Hydralisk then is about to finish, currently about halfway through done, you would try and isolate small chunks of Hydralisks, pick those up, and eventually buy yourself time whilst you're protecting, establishing your third and transitioning onto Colossus to then deal with the push as it would come along. Now, if we just roll on forwards a little bit, the Phoenix did get a few 1 or 2 drones, but that really doesn't warrant the exact cost invested into +1 weapons here, and also the Phoenix numbers aren't exactly as high as you would like them to if they were going to go for something like that. But then from there on out, there wasn't really much isolation going on when Hydralisks were going to come out from these Phoenix, so they didn't really do a whole lot other than get a few worker kills, yes, but it really didn't slow down the overall thing. So like 10 Hydralisks pop out here, these ones coming out in the middle of the map. This is where these Phoenix will be best suited. Prime position for those to start picking those up. They kill Hydralisks off very, very quickly. So if you can get in there and do that, then that's your best option. But as you can see, they all kind of conglomerate, all fused together at this point, and it's very, very difficult to deal with them when there is these kinds of higher numbers for those Phoenix, and they're kind of left very, very redundant. So that's pretty much going to do it. Kind of all spiraled out of control from there. And now we're going to send it over to Paul, who has something very special.
Yes, thank you very much, Kalaris. Indeed, I do have something a little bit special from the social media rounds, which we'll show you in just a minute. Congratulations to Oz and to HyuN. They've both gone through in Group A. You heard what HyuN had to say. And unfortunately, I've just had a quick conversation with puCK as well. He's very disappointed, but I think he has shown that he can hang with the best there is in the world. So I think he should be very proud of his third place in Group A. We'll also see him back in WCS America in Los Angeles in Season 2 as well. We're going to move on to Group B very shortly, which features a very special Canadian. A man that I have on my screen right now. He might not be the man that you think he is, but this, ladies and gentlemen, is HyuN Gosling. Take a look at this. I don't know if we can show that. There we go. That's absolutely brilliant. Look at that. That's an actual mix of HyuN and Ryan Gosling. And I don't know where it starts or ends. It's that good. So thank you at You're a Stud, because that's one of the better ones we've had in. If you can do better, or you think you can do better, then make sure you send us your images as well of any of the players or anything that you'd like to tweet at them. Please use the hashtag #WCS. You might get yourself featured on the show as well. We're also expecting some form of Dark Lord GIF at the end of the night. Maybe he'll do one for Group A. You have seen them before. They're a little bit dark, it has to be said. But we'll see whether one of those pops up. We may even show it later on in the programme. We are now going to take a very quick break. When we come back, though, there is more action from StarCraft 2 because we have the WCS America Group B.